Live. Live. Are we live yet?
Yeah, we're
Dude,
live.
we are live, man. I'm ready for tonight. This is gonna be fun. Guys, welcome to episode 73 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff tonight. Mainly, one of the big topics tonight is a hardcore gasser class rules package for Rocky Mountain Race Week. That's like, I don't know, we're going to spend 15 minutes on that. We're going to visit with Jared and Sharon Klausner about their new event, Cackalacky Run 2025. Plus, during that same segment, we're going to do the Drag and Drive World Champion points updates with updates for overall points leader. Plus, there's a tie in the 850 and in 10-0 that you guys will have to listen to. Then, man, this big show. I'm telling you guys right now, big show. We've got Carl Balzer of Hidden Motorsports. He's coming on to talk about Klaus the Barbarian, their 1500 horsepower Kart, Dragon drives with Heads Up Hustle, and him coming back and doing all that stuff and trying to take the overall championship again there. And then all their time spent at Cleetus and Cars, Skids for Kids USA, and No Half Sins 2024. Dude, it's gonna be a big show. Let's get to it, man. If you'll hit that video, let's go.
All right, let's do it.
We're gonna pack things up and hit the road, try to make it the next day.
Well, guys, again, welcome to episode 73 of the Drag Drive Repeat Show presented by Summit Racing. My name is Mike Narks. I'm the host of the show and the news, which happens on Saturday mornings. And the show, if you're watching this later, happens on Wednesday nights live right on our YouTube and Facebook channels. And my right-hand man, Mr. RHM over here, introduce yourself. Tell them what you got going on, dude.
I am Eric White. I am the co-host of both the show and the news. Each week, I feel like I'm doing something different. So a few weeks ago, I was a photographer doing pictures from Six Summer. In the last week or so, I feel like I've moved over towards the graphic design stuff. So been doing a lot of artwork and that kind of work the last week.
You mean like this? Like this artwork?
That would be one of them that I have done in the past week.
Yeah, this is exciting. Well, guys, if you don't know, I'm part of the production team and social media stuff for the Midwest Drag Race Series, which lends its hand to working some social media stuff with the SmackDown, the largest payout in Pro Mod history race. Y'all, this is going to be gigantic, like 50 Pro Mod cars on site, cars capable of 350s in the 8th mile, 220 plus miles an hour. I mean, this is going to be crazy. Flying H drag strip. This is maybe the biggest Pro Mod race in the history of Pro Mod racing. I mean, I know it's the largest payout in Pro Mod history, but this one's going to be nuts. The track at Flying H is absolutely stellar. Tons of cool stuff. But Eric designed this piece of flyer artwork right here that we'll use to be promoting that race up until for about the next 2 months.
Yeah, and we've got 5 different classes. So the template stays pretty much the same, but kind of color themes change and then your payouts change. But yeah, it was a fun job to do, and I enjoy creating this kind of stuff. I like taking a blank canvas and turning into what you see in front of you.
Yeah, it's been pretty awesome to see your growth for that stuff, man. It's always cool to see your creativity come to work in that. Well, I want to tell you congratulations and thank you again for doing that. And to the team at Midwest Drag Race Series, I'm excited about this race. It's going to be nuts. I'll be handling a lot of the scheduling of posts and all the stats and all that kind of stuff you see within that. That'll be that. So enough regular drag race stuff, guys. we can't do this without you being our race car friends. We can't, literally. It's hard. It's no fun if people aren't watching or making comments or hitting that share button for us. That's always a big plus. Race car friends to us are the way, or you're the glue that keep all this stuff going. And of course, our sponsors that make all this possible: Summit Racing, Molly Motorsports, Driven Racing Oil, Car Change 3D, who had a huge weekend last weekend, an awesome WAF Racing, which we're actually going to update. He has a brand new product on the market. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Ryan at Performabuilt Transmissions, awesome dudes. They are GM-based performance transmissions. Howard's cams, our boy Luke B, you know how he does. If you need cam shaft or valve train stuff, Luke B's your guy. Sweet Patina, if you need to look good, smell good, or have your car look good, Sweet Patina is your spot to go. And we haven't been talking about the 10% discount you get. Oh, the TKO hand cleaning wipes, dude. Yeah. They're the best. They make your hands smell good and they clean stuff off. Racing Junk Classifieds, amazing setup over there. And then PowerTube TV, love it. Everybody helps us grow. All those sponsors help us grow. You guys help us grow. So hit the share button as we get in here. Let's get this thing started. Summit Racing Speed Legacy began in 1968 as a one-man startup and is now the world speed shop with 4 facilities and 200 plus catalog editions. Summit fuels your passion. They save you money. They deliver fast and offer top-notch customer service for more than 1,500 brands. Make sure to download the Summit Racing mobile app for easy access to speed parts. You can find them posting everywhere all day. I don't even know what their social media team looks like, but it's inspiring. I'll tell you that much. You can find them on YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, posting like crazy. And then you can also find them doing interviews and conversations like what we have on the On All Cylinders podcast. From humble origins to the social media lane, Summit Racing stands by your need for speed. Do all of your automotive shopping at summitracing.com. All right, dude. Let's talk about fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Listen, I got a little nerdy the other day, and there's still a lot more nerd left. So these are preliminary. I still have to manually input a lot of stuff and figure out, points and records and all of that with 1 or 2 events that just happened. So we're going to work through that over the next couple of days, but I've been so busy with the Midwest Drag Race Series stuff. It's been tough. So again, if you guys were living under a rock last year, we created a points structure that assigns points for select national level events. Racers are awarded points for showing up, points for each day of racing, points for their final average, like a bonus if they are fast, and then points for finishing 1, 2, and 3 in their class. Plus, they get an extra point if they reset the class ET average record, which that's what takes so long, is those type of things, right? We started this in 2023. Bryant Goldstone, I'm telling you, it was awesome watching him do what he did. He just got down with it. 114 points, won the first ever Drag and Drive World Champion presented by Summit Racing. Won that last year. And dude, are you looking at the top line here? He's on it to maybe do it again.
And he scored more points already than he did last year.
Yeah. So we changed a few things within the rule package. We provided more points for a win because we removed the additional point for resetting a mile an hour a mile an hour average, because not everybody tracks those. So again, learning. And I think it's worked out, dude. 116 points already. Here's the key to this, right? He's one of the only people, maybe the only person, to do 3 national level drag and drive events this year.
Right.
And he's definitely the only one in the 6s to do it.
Yeah.
Crazy. Has won every class he's entered, reset the record twice in the 6s each event. So he literally has, the only way he could have gotten more points is if he had averaged in the 5s. And he missed resetting the overall average, or resetting his class average at Rocky Mountain Race Week by like 0.2 on his average or something like that. It's absolutely crazy to be that close, or 0.3, something like that. But he's currently leading 116 points. Now, here's how this is going to work. We're going to begin doing a lot of what if type scenarios. Who needs to do what, who can actually come out and beat him. But I'll tell you this much. Out of the folks we've seen in the last 2 years, there's probably, you and I've had this conversation, a handful of people that can come and take this from him.
Right. Yep. Yeah. There's not too many.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. One thing we did add last year is one thing we added for 2024 was the opportunity for an 850 points champion. One, because I love that class, but then two, it's going to be very difficult in today's time for racers in the eights to win the overall world champion points because there's just so many 6 and 7 second cars now. Like it's just going to
Right.
be too difficult. So we created this one because I feel like those guys are going to they're going to race. They're competitive as anybody that I know of. And with so many really fast cars being built, this gives them an opportunity. So that's the plan, right? 850 championship. So the current leader in that is Randy Seward with 73 points. Okay. And then Brian Acton with 72 points is also tied with Guy Pertano for 72 points. Now, here's how this works 850 to 9999 average is where we're going to be looking for the meat of those people. As we move later in the year, that is going to get more difficult because sometimes people will take a plan B car and it will be say they take a plan B car and it's a 12-second car, but they win their class. I'm going to allow those points in there because the other two events that they raced in were 850 style or 850 to 10-0 type classes. Okay. So bear with me. Again, we're working through stuff. If you're not pushing your envelope, you're not learning. You're not doing what you're supposed to. So currently top three in the 850 points championship race is Randy Seward, Brian Acton, and Guy Pertano.
All three of them have done 3 events.
No, they've all done 2 events.
They've all done 2. Okay.
Yep. And the reason Randy is ahead of Brian because they've both won both of their classes, but Randy reset the record at Sick Week for his class.
Gotcha.
So again, we're seeing that these 1 point bonuses are so important. So that he literally has as many points as he could have gotten 74 points total would be the most that either of those guys could have gotten.
Gotcha.
Guy Pertano's a little different because he's not in a ET limited class. He's in like a big block NA class for both of the events that he's raced. The 10-0 top 3, this is where it's going to get, this is where a lot of the work comes in for me on my side. So if we see issues and we need to correct Mike, please let's do it. Let me know. Okay. Right now, Joe Haney leads with 60 points because he won Sick Week DYO. So that's an extra like 8 points that he got just from doing that, right? There's Brad Francis is in second place with 58 points. And then the tie for third is across 3 different people, but technically because of the faster ETs, it would be Jay Grabiak, Amber Matz, and Max Croning would round out your technically top 5 of the 10-0 points championship. So a lot of work that's going to go into that. Here's the way I'm looking at this. I'm not including anyone that's in the, maybe one event was in the 9s or 8s and then one event was in the 10s. I'm not doing that yet because which one do you pick? Do you pick so we're just going to work through this as we go. Once we get past drag week, that's when we'll really get really serious about figuring out how that is going to break down and what the point structure is for each of those racers. So it's really exciting to see all that.
Yeah, this is definitely your jam right here, is digging through all that data.
Yeah. And the hard part is we don't have all of the data from like Midwest Drags. I don't have all that input yet. I went through and was looking at like the top 3 of each class, manually inputting their ETs, manually inputting their points, and then I'll go back later and add everyone else. That's where we'll see sometimes that maybe somebody would move around, and that's why I'm not putting out like a top 10 yet because I just don't have all of the data in yet. And it sucks because we go right up against that to right up against Miles of Mayhem. So it's like I've been trying to get all of this stuff put in, but there's just not been enough time with all the other Midwest Drag Race Series and Tulsa Raceway and Tulsa Speedway stuff that's been happening. So we're going to get there.
You're telling me there's not enough hours in the day? Is that what I'm hearing?
Man, there's not enough brain in Michael Narch's head. I'll tell you, that's the way it goes sometimes. But we have begun to see part of the package come together for the overall world champion, for the Drag and Drive World Championship. And our first event up to throw free entry into the pot here is Rocky Mountain Race Week. I want to say thanks to Matt Frost for doing that. I appreciate that. I know that literally, it takes money out of their bottom line, but we appreciate them supporting it. And of course, we saw for the first time ever, Bryant Goldstone use this to come compete in 1.0.
Yep.
Is awesome. That's why he's so far ahead, is because he won all that stuff at Rocky Mountain. He wouldn't typically have done that event, but because he was the world champion, because he won that, because Matt offered that last year to a racer in 2024, that's how Bryant got to do that. Now, this is going to be a big deal as we move towards like the Rocky Mountain mega race in 2025, because
That's true.
that it's going to be so hard to come by those spots because there's going to be so many people wanting to get in.
Right.
So it'll be kind of cool. Yeah, I'm excited about all of that. All right. Let's keep rolling here because I see Sharon and Jared are backstage. So let's talk about Driven Racing Oil and the event updates.
All right. Why gamble with performance or protection when you get proven results from Driven Racing Oil? Trusted by top engine builders, winning racers, and devoted horsepower enthusiasts around the world. Driven takes legendary base oils such as the ones from Bradford, Pennsylvania, which comprise their GP1 line. Then Driven boosts that superior base with state-of-the-art additive packages. Driven's GP1 Nitro 70 not only provides anti-wear protection, but can even shield cylinders from washout and fuel dilution caused by using methanol or nitro-based fuels. Learn more about Driven Racing Oil by following them on Facebook and Instagram at Driven Racing Oil, or shop now at drivenracingoil.com.
Well, let's talk about one of the coolest things that's ever happened to us was last year, and it's happening again this year. Guys, look at this right here on your screen. If you're listening to this on the podcast, you got to jump over to YouTube or Facebook. But we have our booth assignment for PRI 2024. Y'all, this is really exciting because this is a huge move in the right direction for us at PRI. For the folks that came by, we were a little harder to find last year. That is not going to be the problem this year because we have an amazing location. So if you ate in the yellow hall, you probably stopped at the food court that's going to be literally 2 spaces away from us.
Yeah. Yep. 4904. You can kind of see on the overall map there. And then when you hit the next slide, we're going to get a zoomed in look of where that booth is. Or are you frozen again? I think you're frozen again. Oh, we're going to be back to this, huh? So as you guys can see, you can see the yellow hull there. You can see where the yellow star is. That is where our booth is. And when we zoom in on that, you can see 4401 Summit Racing is right there off to the left side. We are a few aisles down. We are directly behind the Airlift Company. Booth 4904, you can see the Drag Drive Repeat logo right there. That is going to be where our booth is at this year. So that's going to be super cool. And Mike just bounced and took all of my slides with me. So give me 1 second. Let me pull those back up. But yeah, like Mike said, this is going to be huge. People did find us last year, obviously, and it wasn't too difficult, but we were kind of hidden off behind another booth where they kind of extended out into the aisle, so it was a little bit difficult to see our booth from behind that. But like you said, this year we're going to be right up front. We're going to be real close to everybody, and there's going to be a bunch of traffic coming through getting food, so that's going to make things a lot easier as well. The slides are loading here, and then I'll get those pulled back up and we'll keep rolling. Mike said the internet was great today, not now. So, all right, where were we? All right, here we go. So, again, booth 4904, we are going to do our limited edition Drag Drive Repeat PRI 2024 sticker. We haven't designed it yet, but we will do similar to what we did last year, where we'll probably do like 100 a day, the first 100 people that come to the booth. We've also tossed around some different ideas of fun stuff we might do as well. So again, here's where the booth is. You enter the yellow hall. You kind of either go in that left or right entrance, and we're going to be right off to the side there. Again, 4904, right behind Airlift Company and right down from Summit Racing Equipment, which is going to be cool because they're again right there in that main aisle, and we're going to be able to bounce back and forth between them, hang out at their booth for a little bit, and then have those guys down at our booth as well.
Dude, that is so frustrating.
Hey, welcome back.
I heard you talking and I was like, I think, and then it just went black. I was like, great. Sorry, folks. I have no idea. So, Cox Communications did say the tornadoes like a month ago is still the cause of it. I think that's probably just an easy excuse. But
Yeah,
anyways, okay.
It's not bad, except for when it kicks you out, it takes the slides with, and then I got to go get the slides. So
I know. I thought about that as I was trying to get everything to come back up.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we may have to plan differently. Alrighty. So heads up hustle, Walter Racecraft has signed up. They are going to be a sponsor. And then there was another sponsorship made today, another announcement made today, but I didn't have time to grab the stuff for it. But I'm excited to see Walter Racecraft come on to a few different events. This is part of his he's doing this one, and then also he's a sponsor at Back to the Streets, which is really cool. So congratulations to Matt and the team over there. It's they specialize in third gen F body stuff, and dude has an amazing car stick shift in a car. It's a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
And then of course Back to the Streets.
Yep, I was gonna say we've been posting a bunch about the Heads Up Hustle racers as well. So we're gonna roll out posts again all the way up until the day of the event. So racer profiles, we've got a form to fill out, gives a little bit of information about the racer, their vehicle, and then kind of how long they've owned it and their goals for the week, which again, I think that's super cool. I like seeing that kind of stuff. And again, it gives you stuff to talk about when you're up in the booth as well.
Yep. That's kind of my goal, because that's the first event I'll be announcing at. Like as an announcer, not just color commentary. All right. Back to the Streets. Guys, you're seeing that correctly. Registration opens this Saturday, July 20th at 10 a.m. He locked in the final spot. He wanted to lock in the final track before he opened up registration. You guys are going to see a lot of stuff from Matt and the team over at Back to the Streets. They're working on flyers right now. They're working on all the stuff that goes along with the drag and drive, and now being able to figure out the route. So the route starts at Milan Dragway, Lapeer International Dragway, and Onondaga is the final track to lock in. So that's exciting, man.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. I was wondering how to pronounce that, so I'm glad you took a swing at it.
Yeah, hey, we'll try it. Yeah, this is going to be another good one. Sadly, I'm not going to make it, but y'all know who he is. Motor Mania TV. They're going to be live streaming the event, so that's going to be a huge win for all the racers at Back to the Streets, but also for the whole team itself, because Motor Mania TV, I don't know if they've really done many drag and drive events, so this is going to be a new thing for them to learn as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Well, the folks that are with us tonight are longtime drag and drive racers that are stepping in and doing their own drag and drive week-long event, national level event. And I think they've timed it perfectly, to be honest with you. I think there was the gap this year from Sick Week to Sick Summer. That gave us a lot of, downtime. That was April was the month of regional events, and Sharon and Jared are going to take over that and give us a national event between Sick Week and Sick Summer. So let's go ahead and bring them on. Again, Jared and Sharon are the proprietors, are the hosts, the folks with the most for Cackalacky Run. That's going to be in the Carolinas. So guys, if you'll introduce yourself, and let's just get into this thing, man.
I'm Sharon.
I'm Jared.
And you guys are hosting Cackalacky Run. I want to know first, where did the name come from?
It's a thing from Fort Liberty. Fort Bragg. It used to get sent down there, and all the soldiers say we're going to North Cackalacky. So that's what it's called. Everything down here, it's we're down in North Cackalacky, that kind of thing, South Cackalacky. So
nice.
We were like, we were trying to come up with names. Well, none of them were good. I thought they were funny, but they weren't appropriate.
Appropriate, but they were not. No.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, that's always good. And a good name will transcend everything. Like it'll make people want to be there. It makes for great shirts. It makes for all that kind of really cool stuff. Well, tell us a little bit your drag and drive history. Where have you guys raced? What'd you do? All that kind of stuff.
Well, we started actually Race Week 2020 was our first event. We were supposed to go on a cruise that year, and of course, Corona came and got canceled. And we're like, let's try it. So we signed up. We got in, got lucky, and of course, like everyone else doing their first drag and drive, got hooked. And the next year, we did both events, Rocky Mountain Race Week and Race Week 2.0. We did Sick Week, the first Sick Week. We've done a couple of street meets.
All the race weeks.
All the race weeks since then, yeah.
Every one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
we
love the drag and drive.
Oh yeah, and Race Week really kind of has created that second bump that we've seen. It would be interesting to see where things would have gone if Race Week had not happened, if 2.0 had not happened.
Right.
Because I think we'd probably still have 4 or 5 events. But when Matt showed that he could do it, I mean, we all know how that goes. We all signed up for 2020.
Oh yeah.
Right.
I mean, for him to be able to put that together in 6 weeks and had an awesome event, and the cool thing was that he opened it up to that's another 250 people that can get in that maybe would never have gotten in there, and that's all they wanted.
Yeah, that's exactly right, and that's what I was just thinking too. Is like how well that worked because you had so many longtime drag weekers doing drag week, and then drag week canceled. Well, now we have so many people that are trying to get in here, and another 250 people brand new. I mean, I don't know if there were many folks that carried over from 1.0 to 2.0.
I think there were a few. I mean, I know like the first one that we did, Finnegan was there. I think he's done it before. And Cleetus was there. He's done it before. I mean, they had Tom McGilton. I mean, there was a few, but there was a lot of new faces from what I understand. And I mean, we were one of the new faces. We were with you. That's right.
Yeah.
Kart.
Yep.
I remember that.
I'm looking at it right now. Transmission's unbolted, just ready for me to find another one.
I got Turbo 400 in the garage. You can have it.
Ooh. Now we're talking.
Now
party.
So we talked a little bit about your drag and drive history. Let's talk a little bit about the cars that you've raced.
I'm the newbie in the relationship. I've only raced one car, and that's the CTSV. You've had a more colored past when it comes to racing.
A little bit. I mean, I had my first car at 17, which was a 1979 Pontiac Firebird. So I had a car that was older than me. And, it was one of those things where you have to remember, you don't have a whole lot of money, so you have to fix it yourself. So you got to figure out how to fix it. And I just got tired of fixing stuff, so I'm just going to make it better. I'll make it better, means make it faster. And now here I am. Now I'm racing the stupid thing. I've gone through, I think it was, the last count was 9 of that second generation Firebird. Because I kept breaking them. It got so bad, I actually twisted one up at Englishtown Raceway back in the day. And I twisted the rear end of the subframe in that car, and it was New York, so it's a little rusty, and kind of twisted the car in half because too much.
Right.
So, oops, Firebird stuff. That's old school body life. But I've raced a bunch of those. I did have a Honda Civic. It was cool. It was fun. Raced that thing, and then I had a 97 pickup truck that I raced. 4-wheel drive pickup truck that had a little shot of nitrous on it. So
gotcha.
But we won't talk about that or the fact
quite a few there.
Oh yeah, and most of them have pieces scattered all across the roads of the Northeast. So
yeah, Mike says he's restarting his computer.
Poor guy.
Yeah, he's been struggling with that. So why did you end up deciding to bring the CTSV, and how did that become your drag and drive car then?
Well, it wasn't my choice, actually. It wasn't by choice. I wanted to get out of like the mommy mobile. My kids were older, so long story short, loved the CTSV, wound up finding one. He found it on his birthday in 2018. And I had no plans of racing or street racing, nothing. It was just I wanted a zippy car that I could drive around and have fun with. And I did, until he decided to sign me up for roll racing at Streetcar Takeover Charlotte in June of 2019. Found out about like the week of, ordered a helmet off of Amazon, kind of watched a couple of YouTube videos. And since then I've been hooked. I'm not really a fan of roll racing, but it hooked me enough to want to try dig racing, and here we are.
Yeah, the race week thing is, I mean, we started doing the drag and drive, and the only car that we had that was a race car at the time was the CTSV.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a really bad time in life for me personally. I had a lot going on personally, and I was really looking forward to that cruise to kind of get away from all the problems that were happening, back home. And when that cruise got canceled, I was not even home. I was up in New York taking care of stuff that I had to take care of up there, in a real, upset kind of mood. And she just calls me and is like, "Hey, we're going to Rocky Mountain Race Week 2.0. I'm like, "Oh yeah?" She said, "Yep, I got in. I bought tickets. We're going. We'll take the V." And I'm like, it instantly made me feel better, which made her feel better. And then all of a sudden, It's just, that's what we do. So
yeah,
it's just part of and now it's a part of who we are. Everything we do with the car, everybody's like, "Oh, you need to put turbos and do a turbo 400 and a Ford 9-inch." I'm like, "Yeah, no,
not for a drag and drive."
Not for a drag and drive.
Yeah.
It's like, "Oh, run methanol." Not for us for a drag and drive. That's not, we don't have the, methanol capabilities to do it,
Yeah, he wants to put zoomies on the car, and I was like, no, not doing it.
A CTSV with zoomies, come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would be unique.
There it is.
And loud. I want to have the hearing at the end of it.
Yes.
It
would definitely loud.
Mm-hmm.
Noise canceling headphones, man. We can make this happen.
You're gonna have to make the zoomies where they cut off at a spot where then you could pull off the the U's and put on mufflers still, so you can swap between race and street.
So here's what my thought was, though. If I do the zoomies like organ grinder and put them 6 feet in the air, it'll be, all the noise will be over top of the car.
That's fair.
And then be just like organ grinder, and that's like one of her favorite cars is organ grinder.
I mean, true, but yeah, no, not happening.
Nice. So how did Cackalacky Run ended up coming about? So you guys have done some drag and drives. What kind of made you guys want to start your own, and how did Cackalacky Run become into that?
That was a decision because we did the Rocky Mountain Race Week, we did Sick Week, and we did Street Meet, and we have so much fun doing all this stuff. And we go to the drag strip, and all the time we're talking to everybody. We're like, "Listen, you guys need to come and do a drag and drive with us." And I'm like, "You need to come to Rocky Mountain Race Week. Matt's event is amazing. You will not have a bad time. It's impossible, really, to have a bad time at Matt's event." And everybody's like, "I can't take 2 weeks off from work because driving from here out there is 2-3 days, and driving back another 2-3 days. Well, there's your 2 weeks." So everybody kept saying that. And then Devin's event, Street Meet, is absolutely amazing. We have a good time on Street Meet too. But a lot of people that we know that race, they're like, "Oh, I don't want to do 8th Mile or whatever. And so I'm like, we were always talking about, wouldn't it be cool if we had a drag and drive like right here in our backyard? We could do like Rockingham, we can do Darlington, we can do all the cars. We don't have to drive 3 days to get out there to Pueblo, or go down to Florida, 12 hours, 13 hours. And I kept saying it, and we kept saying it, and then we're eventually like, well, I don't think anybody else is gonna do it. I mean, Devin's got his, and his is in November, and I'm like, why don't we just do it ourselves? So it's kind of the way I do everything in life. Hey, Mike, welcome back.
Welcome back.
We'll see if I stay this time. I don't know.
Was something I said?
Yeah. Just totally ruined my mood. Just kicked me right out. No, I missed you guys. It's restarted my computer. Fingers crossed. Here we go. So let's talk about dates and tracks then. What tracks are you hitting? What are the dates?
So starting March 24th of 2025. So it's the end of March, which in North Carolina is either going to be perfect drag racing weather, or it's going to be a little cold. This year it was perfect drag racing weather. We are starting March 24th at Darlington. If you've never been to Darlington Dragway, it's an amazing track. They're our host track. They hosted Hot Rod Drag Week last year, so it's a great track. They know what they're doing. And when we were at Darlington on the 24th of March this year, the DA was 204 was the highest it got.
Oh my gosh.
And it was 55 degrees. So it wasn't like it was like 20 degrees. It was 55, 60 degrees, and the DA was 204. So
yeah, that's going to be awesome.
We're going to go fast. Then next day on Tuesday, the 25th, we're going to be at Rockingham, which the coolest thing about that whole thing is Darlington is here, Rockingham is here. They're 50 miles apart. So it is not far. And then Wednesday on the 26th, we're going to VMP, which is a little far, but it is another amazing facility.
Yep.
I personally like their concession stand. And the track is cool, and the track has got a huge shutdown, and it's always sticky, but I'm not sure if you've ever been to VMP.
Yep.
But, yeah, you know what I'm talking about then. It's not a concession stand. It's more of a way of life over there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. They do everything they do is great.
It is. Then on Thursday, I lost track.
27.
Thank you. We're doing a drive day because we're going from VMP back to Darlington, and that's a fairly long drive.
Nice.
But it's not long enough. So we're going to go from VMP to Wilmington, North Carolina.
Okay.
On a drive day. We're going to have some checkpoints set up there. And then the next day, we're going to be driving back to Darlington. Race Darlington Friday the 28th. And we're going to finish up our averages, finish up all that stuff Friday the 28th at Darlington. And then Saturday the 29th, going right into a shootout.
Oh,
and
perfect.
It's going to be very similar to how Matt does it and how Devin does it, where we're going to have the fastest cars and some heads-up stuff. And then everybody else going to get thrown into a big old bracket race. And it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think we're seeing like some people kind of take some chances, and I think that stuff really works in this group because I think there's a lot of people that have stayed away from drag and drive because they just don't understand. You know, it's like a time trial. I get it for a lot of folks, but a lot of folks want that heads up status. So this is that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, definitely, I'm planning on being there for sure. We'll. Why are we going all the way to where do you say Wilmington?
Yes.
What's way over there? Anything cool in the route plan for that?
So the deal with Wilmington is that I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of miles to qualify for the World Championship because, again, Darlington to Rockingham is only 50 miles.
Yeah.
So I want to make sure we had plenty. But Wilmington, I love Wilmington. One of the checkpoints that we actually have set up, I've actually been on the phone with them. They're redoing their parking lot right now. They're going to have space for 500 cars. Concrete parking lot is the Battleship North Carolina, which is an actual World War II battleship that's sitting in Wilmington.
Okay.
That's going to be our checkpoint. They're giving actually group rates for anybody who wants to take the tour on it. And because we're going to give you the whole drive day to Wilmington, you'll be able to kind of stay there and spend some time. I don't have anything confirmed yet, so I can't say what it is, but I'm working with one of the towns around there that we're trying to set up something pretty cool with the town sponsoring for us on Thursday afternoon/evening. It's not set up yet, so I'm not going to say what it is, but that's kind of what we're looking like. And I think that Wilmington is a good spot for everybody to stop. It's a good halfway point for where we want to be. So that's kind of why we're going all the way out there. And I mean, I know that when we did Sick Week, some of our friends from out in Oklahoma City, one of their biggest things they want to do is they wanted to go see the ocean. They wanted to go do some fishing when we had some time. And you know what? There's no better place for it than Wilmington, North Carolina. Go to the ocean, go do some fishing. There's a nice little spot where everybody knows about that. I'll even put it on the map that you can go and you can take a chicken leg and put a piece of string on it and go catch yourself some crabs.
Nice.
So
are you gonna do like some kind of like racer party or anything that day, or is it just gonna be kind of hit your checkpoints?
We're trying to work something out that we could do that. We don't have. I don't want to. The thing of that is that Wilmington's a big city, but outside it's a bunch of small towns.
Okay.
And I'm trying to work with the small towns around outside of it because I don't want to bring everybody through there. And these small towns just only have one main drag in and out, and I don't want to be like, what is going on here? And then we start having, that's exhausted too loud. So I don't want to send anybody through a town if I haven't given them the town the heads up. Hey, this is going to happen. Just because I don't want to have any major issues that could arise because it is a beach town, so it's very, they're kind of, they could be kind of, we want to give them a heads up.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just gonna leave it that. I'm gonna leave it that.
Yeah.
They want to give them a heads up.
There you go.
Yep. Yep. I think that's a good idea. So let's talk about some of the classes for the event. What do you guys have set up for that?
We have quite a few classes. We're doing unlimited. We have an 850 class. We have a stick shift class. We have a daily driver, DYO, a heavyweight,
I know.
a 90,
Outlaw radio, which is
outlaw radio.
anything you got, as long as it's on a radial tire, bring it on. Let's see who's the baddest with the radial, because these are going to be radio prep tracks.
And
Nice.
a 235 class.
Okay. So plenty of options then.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, and the DYO class is we're actually going to wind up splitting that for sure because we have a lot of people interested in it. I thought you were on your way to come get that Turbo 400. I'm honestly.
Sign me up. I'm in the car. I'd rather do it from the car anyway. Man, frustrating. 1/8 mile or 1/4 mile stuff? Sorry.
All 1/4 mile.
Oh, cool.
Except for the 235 class.
Yep.
Those guys are going to go 8th. I don't want somebody trying to do 200 miles an hour on 26-inch tires. I think Devin proved that was a bad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He proved you can do it, but I think it's more fun to go 8th on that stuff.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
And I do believe these tracks are going to have us. I mean, you know the tracks. You've been to these tracks before. The 235s are going to get down.
Yeah.
If they're going to get down, they're going to get down fast.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I see Steve Willingham over here making comments. He was on last night with Adam
Come
Dory
on,
on
Steve.
the
We saw you last
drink.
night.
Steve's actually put his interest for him in. And
That's
he
awesome.
He was down here doing street meet, and he had a great time. I think he came in 3rd in the 850 class of street meet, or the whatever class it was that we were all in. I don't remember. Was it limited? I don't remember. He beat out my 2 buddies with the Supras. Is all I'm going to tell you.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hey, what did your buddies think of it? Did they have a good time?
They have both signed up for street meet again.
That's awesome.
So
Very cool.
The guy in the black Supra, he's not going to do it in a Supra again because he realized he's a little too big to be spending a week in a race car Supra.
A Tillet seat, no less.
Yeah, he's in a Tillet carbon fiber seat, driving on radials, and it's not like a width thing. He's just 6'1", and it's just too much. His knees were killing him. Oh, yep. So they're right there.
Bear.
Hi, Bear. Bear is the guy from Darlington Dragway. We were actually out there last night, and he had cars going real fast last night.
Yeah.
So
yeah, those guys know how to do it, man. And radial stuff, we know that's becoming a huge part of the drag race culture, and those tracks know how to do all that. And I think it probably helps. They're all in the same area, so like they can all go to each other and visit and do all that kind of stuff. It's pretty awesome.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
so where can people find out more information on the event? Where do they need to go to check that out?
They can go on, we have Instagram and Facebook, Cackalacky Run. And then we also have a website that has all the event information. And as we update things, we'll have it added, of course. Registration will be on the website, and that's cackalackyrun.com.
spelled exactly as you see it on the screen.
Yep, exactly.
So it's all right there. All the class information is there. All the expression of interest form is there for anybody. We're doing the expression of interest. First 250 people that fill them out, they're going to get a 48-hour head start on registration. 24, 48, whatever. They're going to get a head start on registration.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, so you guys got to be getting close to that number, and then of course you want as many people to fill out the interest form as possible, simply because that's another way for people to get, I'm not going to say exclusive info, but a lot of times the people that have filled out that form get early stuff. They get early information. They get early things, from like a newsletter standpoint type deal. Well, I saw you had made a post about a couple sponsors. So you want to give them shout outs?
Yeah, so Vengeance Racing, they are sponsoring the 850 Extreme Street class. Thank you, Vengeance. Ron and Misty, you're awesome. I love you. They are on board. They actually, if you're not familiar with them, they have a few cars that have done drag and drives in the past. Ryan Weger with the Camaro, and Ned Dunphy with the Viper. He's done Drag Week. So I'd be curious to see if any one of them come out. And there's a few others that we've been talking and kind of coaxing to come out and do a drag and drive. So that'll be interesting. We also have, most recently, we made a post, Sipple's Speed and Performance. John and Jessica, they're in the Mopar world. She drives Tigger, which is an orange Challenger with the Tigger stripes on it. She is dominating her classes when she runs. John, same thing. They're awesome people and they're on board. And they, I believe, will be most likely racing with us as well.
Nice.
So they told me some information. I'm not going to share it because it's not my information to share, but they have something pretty cool. So I'm excited to see that come out.
Oh, nice. That's
Yes. And new information update. So gettracking.net. They also are with Side by Side Trackers. For those that don't know who they are, they sell GPS tracking devices for vehicles, trailers, and such. And I know that most recently on Rocky Mountain Race Week last month, the unfortunate happened to one of the racers, and a couple of cars had gotten taken from their hotel. And I know that they were able to recover one of them, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that impressed us both is that this company literally helped spread the word. They paid money to boost posts to get the information out there to help get the car recovered. And they didn't even have their tracker or anything. They were just doing it because they're so passionate about safety and being able to not have your stuff taken, right? There's not so great people out there. And, for most people that are in the racing community, you're spending a lot of money and it's a hard earned money. It's not just, pocket change. So you want to protect your investment. And so they are now on board as a sponsor. They have given us a personalized link to purchase trackers or anything that they sell with 20% off discount. The link is actually live right now on our website. So if you go on the homepage, if you go past the expression of interest form, you'll see a get the link now thing. And when you go on, it'll bring them right to their website and you get 20% off your purchase.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a huge win for the community. 20% off is a bunch of money.
Yeah, and they're
not expensive.
They're not expensive, and it's a cheap insurance kind of thing. And I mean, I know a lot of people that when we were talking about doing stuff in South Carolina, North Carolina, like Hot Rod Power Tour came through here and had cars taken, and I think the Drag Week a couple of years ago or something had something taken, and it's like you can't stop people, but you can do your best to, as soon as something goes wrong, you can get it right back. And these guys that get tracked, they're so passionate because literally it spawned because
they had their stuff taken. Yeah.
Yep.
So we're not going to do that. So
yeah, and one thing Eric and I have talked about in the past is just don't make it easy. You know what I mean? So like if there's a little sticker on that window that says, tracker inside or something like that, like maybe they'll go on to the next card. That's what you want. You want them to be like, it's going to be too tough to get that one.
Exactly. Yeah. You want it to be to where they just look at your car and say, nope, not going to bother with that. I'm going to move on to the next one.
Yep.
So, yep.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
And they're super cool.
That's huge. Yeah.
So we're real happy that they're going to offer that stuff for us.
Yeah. Well, guys, what haven't we covered? I know I've been in and out here, but what are some things that we haven't talked about that we need to about the event?
That we want everybody to come out and have a good time. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you run 6 seconds in a quarter mile or you run 17 seconds. We want them out here. We've got a lot of people doing expression of interest forms. We have a lot of people I know I've spoken to personally that are like, "Yep, we're coming." I know that whatever, we're coming. I don't know what I'm bringing, but I'm coming.
That's awesome.
We've got a couple of big tire cars that say that they're coming. And we are going to make sure that they get down the track. Just like I have 2 people I know right now that say they're definitely coming. That are both trying to hit 200 miles an hour on 275 in the quarter mile.
Come on.
With the DA being, I mean, it's going to be in the hundreds, not thousands. It's going to be in the hundreds that week.
Wow.
I don't know. I really want, and I'll put this out here right now. I want to see Matt Frost bring the Hulk out here and unleash that car in 200 DA down Darlington Dragway.
Yeah.
Again, because he did it on Hot Rod Drag Week, but I think what happened was that it just built so much boost because the DA was so much lower.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I swear I would see that car is going to do a 620 if he could. I
hope
it's going to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, if Jason comes, it's a twofer for Brent.
Oh yeah, that's great. So
That's
I
awesome.
want to see Matt Frost bring that car down here and throw
Yep.
it down some 200 DA because he's what do you do, 680?
Yep.
And Vandermeer, yeah, he's got this.
Yeah, exactly. And
Yeah,
actually, something else new that we haven't announced yet. Adam Dory, for those of you that have done Rocky Mountain Race Week or Race Week, we asked him if he would be willing to do his thing on the mic, and he is going to announce for us all week long.
That's
Another.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We forgot about that.
Yep. Another thing that we are in talks of is we've been talking to Chad Reynolds at Bank Shift to do our live feed, and he is totally down. He is awesome to work with, so he will be doing the live feed, so you know what you're going to be getting if you're familiar again with Race Week.
Yeah.
Poor Mike up there.
Mike was under a bridge on his way to get this Turbo 400. That's what happened right there.
You dropped some new news and got him so excited he froze.
I know it.
His internet just couldn't take it. But we really like the way that Adam does his thing and Chad does his thing. So if we can make it all work, and that's what we're trying to do, we would love to have it work exactly that way. Because I mean, Adam is I'm biased. I love Adam as an announcer. The drinking game may get a little out of hand every once in a while, but I do love him as an announcer.
Yeah, and not only that is, this is such a great community, all the sponsors that are involved. We want to try and keep it, within the community that people are passionate about racing and about the drag and drives as much as we are, and the people that are actually, racing in the event. So anything we can do to kind of keep it within the community, we absolutely will, especially small businesses. We are still looking for some sponsors. So if anybody's out there, they want to get involved, we still need a title and/or presenting sponsor. And we have plenty of sponsorship packages, and we still have some classes that need to be covered. So if anybody wants to get involved, hit me up either on the website or on Messenger, Facebook, whatever, and we can talk some things out.
Perfect. And registration date? Do you guys have a date set for the registration yet?
I don't have a registration date set yet, and the reason is that we are not 100% sure what we are going to wind up charging for the registration.
Okay.
What we're going to do is we're going to do it very similar to how Devin does Street Meet, to where you're going to pay your entry to each track that you go to, instead of us taking the pre-entry. So it's going to be a lot less for your initial cost. But if you break and you wind up not racing after the first day, you don't have to pay the other 4 days worth of entry. And while $100 is not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things, that's mostly your first tank to get home. It's a little,
right.
It helps out a little bit. So we're waiting a little bit to do that, but we're looking probably in the October timeframe for registration.
Okay.
But that's why we haven't put out a date yet. We're not sure exactly monetarily what we're going to do, and I don't want to take anybody's money until I know exactly what you're getting.
That's understandable. Well, when you guys decide on a date, we'll have you back on here and we can make that announcement.
Ooh.
Absolutely. I'm down.
So,
hopefully Mike will have his internet fixed by then.
Yeah, he said, I have no idea what's going on. So,
poor guy.
yeah. Well, thanks for coming on. And before we let you go, why don't you tell everybody where they can find more about the event and all the social medias and all that stuff.
Yep. So again, it's Cackalacky Run on Facebook and Instagram. We also have a chat group called Cackalacky Runners. So you can join that and chat and, call people out, whatever poke fun. And then you can also go to our website, which has all the latest information about class rules, event information, and so on. And that is CackalackyRun.com.
Awesome. Y'all, I apologize for being in and out. That's why we have such an awesome co-host here, Mr. Eric White, just taking over and being the man. All righty. Well, y'all, thank you so much for coming on tonight. Thank you for doing this. I hope everybody learned a little bit, and we get to have some fun. I can't wait till March to see you guys there. I'm sure we'll see each other before then, but let's see each other at your event. So good luck. I know how hard that is, and it's going to be awesome.
We're going to do our best.
Thanks for having us.
All right, guys. Thank you
if you
very
guys
much.
need anything, if you need anything from us, always reach out too.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what's going to happen.
All right.
We're not shy.
See you guys.
Thank you.
See ya.
Man, talk about a crazy bit of turnaround there, dude. Thank you so much for being so awesome and taking care of me when I'm gone, dude. I have no idea. It's never done that. It's usually does it once maybe, and then we're fine. But it was not that this time. So hopefully we can get through that. Let's keep rolling here.
All right. Looks like I forgot to show the picture we had here. But yeah, so this shows the dates, the tracks, and the website there. So again, make sure you guys check that out. It's going to be a cool event, and they'll probably come back and let us know when registration comes out, and then we can relay that information on to everybody else.
Yeah, we'll be watching it pretty closely. Well, if you don't mind, I'll do the Molly ad read.
All right, go for it.
All right, attention high performance enthusiasts and racers, meet the Molly Motorsport Power Pack Kit, your ultimate solution for power packed performance. The Power Pack pistons are made from either 4032 aluminum alloy to allow for tighter cylinder to wall clearances and improved temperature stability, or 2618 alloy to allow for increased detonation resistance. Tailored for various engine families from small block Chevrolet to Volkswagen and Audi, Molly has you covered. What sets them apart? Forged pistons, Grafal coating, and phosphate treatment for peak performance and durability. Elevate your ride with Molly Motorsport, where performance meets precision. Unleash the power within. Visit mollymotorsport.com for more details. And for the podcast listeners, Molly is spelled M-A-H-L-E. And one other reason to use Molly pistons is because what you're seeing right here in this picture for the folks that are on YouTube and Facebook, these guys are also drag and drive racers. It's one of the biggest things with us. We want supporters and folks that understand what you guys are going to be going through. Well, this week's spotlight for the co-pilot Molly Motorsports co-pilot spotlight comes from Donovan Linwood about his wife, Marissa. You'll have to read the full article on the website here in just a little bit, but here's a few tidbits. One question we always ask is, tell us a story about how your co-pilot saved the day. She saves every day on these events. She's the glue of the program. She constantly makes sure I have what I need, keeps me on track on getting done what needs done, recording every pass to make sure I can always tell what the car is doing, and keeping me hydrated and alive. Yes, 100%.
I would say,
I think wives make great co-pilots because of that, but I don't know if Melissa and I could ever do one together.
I would say that's a good way to save the day. Keeping somebody hydrated and alive is definitely helpful.
Right. And another one that he says here is another question that we have is, tell us a story about how your co-pilot ruined the day. This is always a fun one because you get some pretty funny answers. And he said that she sent us 20 miles up the wrong Highway 121 on Rocky Mountain Race Week 1.0 2024.
Oof.
Yeah. So that's pretty tough. Well, I want to say thanks to Donovan for sharing this, sharing the pictures that are out there of them and him and her doing that. And again, we refer to these husband and wife teams as power couples because it really does take a really strong bond to get through a week of drag and drive in a drag and drive car, especially one that's as fast as his. He raced in the Rowdy Radio class this year at 1.0, and he earned every bit that he got. I'm telling you, they had it hard. It's 140 plus degrees in some cars, so I can imagine his was like that because it was it's a dark color. So.
Yeah, especially full-blown race cars. Like,
yeah,
when you're riding in something like that with a spouse for that many hours, no creature comforts and not a comfortable ride at all, I'm sure it'll test your relationship pretty quick.
Yep. And big shout out to them. Marissa is an ER nurse and had her stuff with her when they came across the coatings. They were the first on the scene at that accident and definitely helped keep all of that stuff together. And those guys are recovering well because of the efforts that Marissa and the whole team of people that was there with them, the whole crew that they had, and all the other cars that were cruising along with them. They all helped and jumped in and got all that going. So congratulations to them. And thanks again for submitting that. If you would like to submit your own co-pilot spotlight, you can do that on the website at dragdriverepeat.com/co-pilot spotlight. Just a couple questions on there asking just some fun stories. I think we're going to put together a collage of stories of how someone saved the day and how someone ruined the day. I think those are my favorite questions of the forum for sure.
Yep. The link is in the chat and it will be in the show description. So click on that link, go fill that out, and gives us one more thing to talk about and highlight those co-pilots that don't get as much attention.
Yep, that's right. All righty. Well, guys, again, we can't do this without you. We can't do this without all of our race car friends that are out there that make, I don't know, that 1 a.m. stuff I talk about all the time. It was apparent last night as I was writing articles. 1 o'clock in the morning is like a magical time. There's nobody in my house doing anything. I'm just in there typing away, and had some people make comments, had some people share some stuff. That's a big motivator to spend another 10 or 15 minutes on things, and that's a big part of being our race car friends right here. And as we talked about PRI earlier, we will have a brand new sticker that will be available to the first 100 folks that visit the booth this year for 2024 at PRI. It's going to be specialty. It's one off. Every year we're going to have a different decal or different sticker for each time. And that's because you guys are awesome. And then thank you so much to our sponsors as well. We appreciate them so much. Summit Racing, who's going to be 4 rows from us at at PRI, and then Molly Motorsports, who's about 8 rows, I think. Driven Racing Oil, who's close. Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmissions, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk Classifieds, and Power Tube TV. We can't do it without you guys as well. It takes a whole village, and that village continues to grow every day. And part of that growth is because of the folks that are watching this right now. The gentleman's agreement. Listen, we love what we do. We love doing this. Love talking. Love looking at stats. Love doing all that. But it takes time. It takes money. And the gentleman's agreement is we're going to continue to do that as long as you guys will hit that follow or share button wherever you're watching that. We would appreciate that as we work our way towards 100,000 followers across the brand. And then Power Tube TV, y'all. We can't do this without them. We post exclusive content over there. So PowerTube TV is your ultimate destination for automotive entertainment. Enjoy an unparalleled streaming experience on the 100% free web-based site, Roku, or mobile apps. You can also watch on Android, Fire, and Apple TV. So we're excited to partner with PowerTube because they were created by enthusiasts for enthusiasts. You can find a bunch of I would say not vintage shows, but original content like Pinks and Pinks All Out and Pastime, alongside a lot of new and original content from us and a ton of other content creators. And so PowerTube TV is more than a streaming platform. It really is a community. They have Facebook pages for all the stuff. They help us grow in a lot of that way. So if you want to find out more, you can watch powertubetv.com or follow them on all the social media apps. They post a lot on Facebook and YouTube.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. I feel like I ran through a lot there. Let's talk about this new WAF racing piece, man.
Yeah, this is
carburetor
pretty cool.
guy. Yeah. I feel like this is great for the guys that are carburetor guys. Keep carbs alive, KTA. This is a big deal. This is a stacker or stabilizer work bench area thing for your carburetor. Right now, obviously set up for 4150 and 4550 carbs. This is a cool deal, and it just shows their brain is always working.
Correct.
Chris was on talking about all the stuff they've done and talk about all the cars they build and have fun with and all that. And this I'm sure came from somebody having an entire shelf of a single layer of carburetors, and they're like, you know what? If you put 2 of these, we could have more shelf space.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, this is pretty neat. I'm excited about this. And again, they're keeping carburetors alive, man. Keep it going. So if you guys want to see this and all the other products that WAF Racing creates, again, one of our sponsors, WAF.racing or WAF-racing, or WAFracing.com. Pretty awesome.
Yep, I'm excited to see what other kind of stuff that they end up coming up with. So between them and Car Change 3D, I mean, we are getting new products released all the time, which is awesome. This is all stuff that's going to benefit the community, and there are a lot of carb racers out there still, so these kind of products are definitely going to be beneficial.
Yeah, that's for sure. And again, this will work on the throttle body type stuff as well because it's based on the intake mount of it. So pretty cool. Well, let's move to Howard's Cams because we've got a lot to cover here, and then if if Carl is still watching from the backstage, we'll be ready for him in about 15, or not from the backstage, from the road. They're working on stuff. We'll be ready for him in, I would say, 15 or 20 minutes, something like that. So he wants to find him a spot to kind of gather up.
All right, I'm gonna hit this video for Howard's Cam, and then we'll get to it.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Harris from the Monoxide Podcast. Real quick, Howard's Cams was founded as a racing cam manufacturer almost 80 years ago when Howard Johansson created Howard's Power and Racing Equipment in 1945. Howard's Cams has always used on-track experience to design the most powerful designs, and today they have an even greater group of experienced racers in circle track, drag racing, road race, mud bog, and marine. They use all this input plus the most advanced computer software to design the most competitive race-winning products. From pioneers in drag racing and oval track to cutting-edge marine development, Howard's Cams is at the forefront of the industry. So make sure to reach out to our friend, Luke B, for your next valve train upgrade.
All right. Yes. Howard's Cams is awesome. Luke B is awesome. I love talking to that guy. Reggie Moore. I'm a carb guy. I know that's right. He is one of the coolest hot rods that is out there in the Oregon grinder. All right, let's talk about non-carbureted stuff. Well, carbureted stuff right now, but is going to EFI. Mr. Graham Hayes, the overall winner of Midwest Drags, was talking to Jesse Fox in one of Jesse's 3G video coverage of Midwest Drags. If you haven't watched that, you need to. 3G video is awesome. He goes to more events than I think anybody out there, and has a great way about interviewing folks as he's going along. So 3G video on YouTube and Facebook and all that. But Graham, just ever so under his breath, said that Drag Week 2024 is going to be the last time that the gray car has a nitrous setup in it.
Wow.
Which is pretty wild. This is a low 7-second car. This car in 720s on Midwest Drags. I mean, this car's really, really fast. They are some of the, like from the Carolina area. I don't know exactly, Carolina, Virginia, something like that. And these guys go real fast. They've got a purple one that's the same body style. I think they're 67s, both of them. Big block, nitrous, fast cars. One of them's on big floppy tires. One of them's on radials. These cars move out. So when I heard that, immediately I thought, man, I got to message him. I got to know what he's going to, in hopes that he's going to a turbo, because, I'm kind of a turbo guy. I enjoy that stuff a lot. And he is going to turbos. He's going to twins on a 540-inch big block. So that's going to be awesome.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's going to be cool.
Yeah. He said the purple car will stay a nitrous car. And so they will have that 7-second nitrous car and this, hopefully low 7, high 6-second turbo car. Nope.
Jared said, tried convincing Sharon to put zoomies on her car and make it look like yours. She wasn't having it.
Yeah. We wish that would happen too. Zoomies on a CTSV would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. I'm excited to see Graham take that next step, because this will be, an all new learning process for them to learn big turbos and big cubic inch stuff. I mean, that's got to be a setup that's capable of 2,500 to 3,000 horsepower, I would think.
I would imagine.
Yeah. So bring it on. That's exciting. Well, let's talk about one of the biggest changes. Let's talk about one of the biggest changes. Major gasser class updates for Rocky Mountain Race Week.
This has been a topic that came up a lot lately on the RMRWers page, for sure.
Yeah, this is a great conversation, and I love it when promoters that have been doing events for 10 years are willing to listen to the people and really take I'm not going to say advice, but take comments and put those to use, right?
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Matt did. So we're going to run through some of this. You and I are going to have, this is going to be an open conversation. We're going to talk about some of the rules here, right? 2025, this is not for 2024 2.0. This will take effect for 2025, which is in itself another major accomplishment, that you're going to do this and host the biggest drag and drive ever. So
Right.
Your cutoff for cars is 1970 and older, unless it's cleared by Matt. So if you have something that fits, you want to submit it, please do. All cars and trucks with A-arm suspension must have a raised front end of a minimum of 3 inches. All cars and trucks with a straight axle need to have a raised front end minimum of 2 inches. So you got to have that look. You got to have that kind of, you got to have that rake. The front of the car has to be raised X inches higher than the rear of the car. If you're not sure, raise it higher. Literally in the rules. I love it. It said the exception is if the whole vehicle has been raised equally and has the right look. So the look is tires sticking out of the quarter in the rear and skinnies up front. Again, this is going to be there's a lot of interpretation of what a gasser is. And if you have a question, you can always send it to Matt Frost, Matthew E. Frost on Facebook and ask, or join the RMRW ERS page, Rocky Mountain Race Weekers Facebook group to ask your questions in there. Steer tires. This is where we get into kind of the meat of what we're going to talk about. So steer tires must be 6 inches or less. So it's got to have skinnies on the front. No modern wheels or bead locks. I like that. Okay. They didn't have bead locks back in 1970. So you can't have bead locks now. Wings, unless you are the Winged Express, which I don't think was like a street gasser. Slicks only on the rear, no radials. It's kind of a cool, because like, again, they're really trying to be period correct. So in the times and stuff that I've spent with Southeast Gassers, that's always their biggest thing is like, was it available? Their cutoff is 1967. Was it available in 1967? If it was, then you can run it. If it wasn't, you can't. So now they allow a little newer transmission stuff because you're not going to see that. And it's going to make the car more reliable.
Yeah. So then.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, then after that, we've got those are all the rules, and now is where we get into you've got to have. Well, I'll just go ahead and read it. How about that? It makes it a little easier. So, in addition to everything that we just talked about, you must have 4 of the following bullet points here. So, old school intake, carb style flange, tunnel ram, blower, stacked injection, no plastic intakes, and if you have the normal LS intake, then you must have 5 of the items on this list. Okay.
Yeah, so he's not opposed to late model engine stuff, which I always have liked about Matt's hot rod and gasser class. But now he, like, if you're going to have a gasser, it's going to look the part for sure.
Yeah. So old school paint, this can be stressed, weathered, lace accented, or sun rays, panel painted. Do your research to see what they did pre-1970s.
Yeah, so not only are they going to have the stance, now they're going to have the paint look. It says car name on the quarter or door, 60s cool school lettering, and old school decals of manufacturers. Can be current manufacturers if they have a classic look. I like that too.
Yep. Color tinted glass. I thought this one was interesting.
Yeah.
Now, again, these aren't requirements. Now, you have to have 4 of these, or unless you have an LS intake, you have to have 5. So, not saying that you have to go out and tint your windows a certain color, but again, this is one of the things that you can have on that list.
Yep. So color tinted glass, fender well headers. Love that. Gotta get that noise out. And manual transmission doesn't stipulate what it has to be. There's no gear number or anything like that. So again, manual transmissions on there. What's up next?
Old school looking ladder bars or the early fixed traction bars. Cutouts or modified or cut or modified quarters tires protruding from the well.
Yeah. So again, gotta have the look. And then front runners are 4 inches or less. So that's your race tire. Gonna have to be 4 inches or less because those are tiny. And then you have to have a distributor, no EFI.
Yep. And then the last thing.
No coil on plug. You can have EFI. Distributor. Yeah.
And then the last thing on the list, again, not requirements, but one of these is the moon tank, which is probably one of my favorite things for a gasser.
Yeah, man. Again, I think you have to go back to that look. Like that's what you want. And that's what he's going for, right? because they had some people, I think maybe, I'm not going to say complain, but had some people have some conversations about that. Hey, we want a little more traditional setup. And as the gasser craze continues to grow, you got to kind of feed into that a little bit. He did have some power adder limitations, so you and I can alternate through this, but blower 871 or smaller. So, again, that look of a big blower up top. So you are able to have power adders, which means he's going to do 2 classes. He'll have an NA class and a power adder class.
Yep. And then for twin turbo, 76 or smaller.
Yep. And then you can do a big single, an 80 millimeter or smaller single turbo setup.
Yep. Or a nitrous single plate. So no multi-plate kits.
Yep. Or stages or anything like that. And again, I doubt they had direct port nitrous in 1968, 1969. So they would have put it on a plate. So again, that look, you want that look that goes in there and all that. So this is going to be really cool. So he says the ideas here is to make these cars look as they did back then. There were so many cool parts of the culture and these era cars. I challenge you to not have just what's required, but have fun and do all of them, or as many as you can. Again, what we just went through, you have to have, if you are non-LS, you have to have 4 of these things. If you have the normal LS intake, aluminum, I don't know what that means, because like the factory LS intake is generally, I would think it would not be acceptable on that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it says no plastic intake. So I'm assuming they're talking the aluminum carb style intake.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Like a single plane setup. Yep. So, then you have to have 5 of what we just listed there.
Which there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There was 10 items that we went through. So
yeah. So he's really the first person to ever do this. There's never really been anybody that's kind of said, "Hey, have some of these." You have to have some of these. It's always just been a mandatory list of stuff, and then up to the folks from there. So I just want to say this part is huge as well. The class will have 15 spots that will not need to do regular sign up. Once they are filled, you will need to try and sign up during the regular registration. So 15 spots are guaranteed. Okay, for your gasser friends, please tag them either in this video or in the rules package post or whatever. This is a huge deal for gassers. Those guys in hot rod and gasser class typically kind of get left out. There's 5 or 6 cars in that. Matt is willing to put it on the line and lay out huge rule stipulation here if you guys are going to get in and play nicely with each other. This is going to be kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. I've always thought they were a cool class. I mean, they have that old school look, and it makes you feel like you're at a drag strip back in the 70s. It's cool to see.
Yep. And he said cars that check all the boxes will get first choice at the spots. He said you'll need to send me a picture of the car or get one of those spots. Yeah, sorry. So send a picture of the car to get one of those 15 spots that are available.
Yeah. So if you have everything on that list, which I can think of a few cars that come to mind that have most, if not all of those things.
Yep. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So if you think you have a car that fits that class that isn't what we've listed, but think it would have fit in the day, send him a picture and your argument. The worst he can say is no.
Yeah, I like the send me a picture and your argument. I think that's cool. That's a good way to put it. If you want in, you're gonna have to tell him why. So he said, let's get this class filled up and put on a show that could be the coolest class at the event. Big burnouts, wheelies, cool ass cars. Doesn't get much better than this.
Yes. Yep. So that's awesome. Reggie Moore here says, I think this is really gonna build the class. Super smart on Matt's part.
Yeah, for sure. And he said this is the most regulated class at Race Week, but for all the right reasons.
Yep, that is going to be awesome. That's definitely going to be cool to see.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, I don't see Carl in here just yet. I'm going to send him a message, but let's talk about some of the crazy stuff that's coming, because one thing we haven't done in a while is gone over the upcoming Drag and Drive. So if you want to pull up the dragandrive.com/event list, let's run through some of the events. Obviously, starting on the 21st, we have Miles of Mayhem, which is going to be awesome. I'm really pumped about that event and what it can bring to Canada. We've had a few events in Canada already this year, but this one's the big one. This one's the 200 plus cars, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. So it looks like next up on the list, actually starting on Friday, is going to be Road Trip Drag Challenge number 2.
Yep. Yeah. So they have done a really good job. Again, that's another 150, 200 car event in Australia. And the team over there has done awesome. Mick Apps is his name. And he's been on the show with us in the past. I think he actually did one of the news episodes with us because it was morning time over there compared to afternoon time for us or something like that. So
Right.
that's the Road Trip Drag Challenge number 2. Of course, they're doing 3 or 4 events this year in Australia. So they're part of the 7 or 8 events that are over there for this year. And then, of course, Miles of Mayhem, going to be huge, man. I'm telling you, that event is in its 4th or 5th year now. Miles of Mayhem is going to be awesome. Saskatoon, they are driving, I think there's like 1,100 miles or something like that they'll cover with 200 race car friends.
Yeah.
And then, of course, yeah, next weekend, dude.
Yep.
When you say next week, it's crazy to think that I'll be driving to Detroit on next Wednesday.
Yeah. Heads Up Hustle, your first full-blown announcing gig, man. How cool is that?
Dude, I'm so ready. I've been brushing up and listening to some of the Adam Dory. I've been listening to some of the past live streams, and it's funny. The hardest part is I say excited, I say pumped, I say awesome a lot. You don't want to do that if you're going to be on the mic for 4 hours in front of people. You don't want to say the same 3 words. So I've been trying to work through. Ray at PowerTube TV tells me all the time, slow down when I'm talking.
Yes.
1, it'll take more time, but then 2, he's like, people want to hear what you have to say. So I need to keep that in mind while I'm up there and all nervous and everything like that. So,
Yep. So then that actually rounds out the month of July. And then beginning of August, we've got the NYS, the New York State Drag and Drive at Skyview Drags, August 2nd through 4th. So this is their first time doing that event. So that's gonna be pretty cool.
yep. And one of their main hosts, promoters, Cameron, I don't know how to say his last name, starts on the M, and he was posting the other day that they're ready to do this. They've learned a ton in the few months that they've been promoting this event, and that 2025 is going to be even better than the 2024 event. So they're getting ready. They're pumped for this thing.
Yeah, and then also the same weekend as the NYS Drag and Drive, we have King of the Open Road, which their host track's going to be Thunder Valley, and that again is also August 2nd through 4th.
Yeah, and that's right there in Oklahoma City. I wish I could do this event. I just, with all the travel and stuff we have going on, that's one of my only weekends that I will have available for any time in the next like 8 weeks, starting the first part of August. But King of the Open Road, again, 200 cars minimum on that one. I think they're probably sold out already. If they're not, you need to get into it. But it's the only drag and drive that does roll racing as well.
Right.
It's kind of cool. They go on a big drive on Friday. It's crazy. It seems like when they rescheduled that from, was it April? I think it was, it was going to be the week after the circuit. So when they rescheduled that to August, it felt like, man, that was so far away. And now here we are right on top of it again. So it's pretty good. And I know that Jared is ready to host this thing. They've hosted monthly events since then, and they've all done well. And I know he loves drag and drive, and he's ready to get down to it. So yeah, Thunder Valley, Oklahoma City, you got to get over there and see it.
Yep. Then we've got Road Trip Drag Challenge number 5, August 12th through 6th. We've got Texas Cruise and Chill, which this is going to be their first event, right? Texas Motorplex, August 16th and 17th.
Yep. Yeah, and I want to go back to the 5-day. They did actually cancel this because they couldn't get enough people signed up for the 5-day. I need to take that down off the website. My apologies about that. But yeah, Texas Cruise and Chill, August 16th through 17th at the Texas Motorplex.
Yep, and then the last 2 events that round out August is Nostalgia Nights at Wabash Valley Dragway in Terre Haute, Indiana, August 15th through 17th, and Dragway Rush at Grand Bend Motorplex in Ontario, Canada, August 23rd and 24th, and that rounds out the end of August.
Yeah, so Dragway Rush, this is their first year, and it's the first one in Canada on that side of Canada. They've all been kind of Western Canada. This is the first Eastern Canada event. This is going to be a big deal, and we're excited for them to do that. Well, I see Carl is here in the back, so let's talk to him because, dude, you've been driving like a maniac. Let's talk about where you're going and all that kind of fun stuff.
Yeah, right now we're heading to Stafford Speedway in Connecticut for the Cleetus and Cars. We got Burnout Rivals going on, and then the big Crown Vic race that you guys have seen everywhere. It's absolutely awesome. We're about an hour from the track right now. I'm actually in the race trailer. You see, we got here. I'm sitting on him because I'm somewhere in the mountains. It's like thunderstorming. It's dark. No idea where I'm at, but found a rest stop so we can do this.
Well, man, I'm glad you did. I appreciate you going through that, dude. You struggled. Let's talk about your struggles. You guys got a little later start, and then you had a tire change. What happened?
Yeah, it's some weird luck the last couple of days. Klaus was acting funky yesterday. We got that figured out. Today there was some stuff at home with the dogs. Kind of woke up to some messes. That pushed a delay. We had truck tire blowouts. We had trailer tire blowouts. Truck's running a little weird right now. We're having a blast, if you can see it in the face.
Yeah, drag and drive life, baby.
That's awesome. Oh, hey, that's us.
So I've pulled up a couple pictures. I figured we'd run through those while you're kind of telling us some stuff. So what is Hidden Motorsports, man?
Yeah, so we started about 6 years ago, working on BMWs on the side out of our garages. It got to be big enough where we were getting booked out like months at a time. And then last year, me and my two other business partners, Brandon and Chris, we decided to just open up a shop. So out here in Maumee, Ohio, we have Hidden Motorsports opened up as of January last year. And then by the summertime, we all quit our, I guess you could say, big kid jobs or whatever to pursue this career. And it's great because we work twice as long for half as much money. So business owner life is great.
Yeah. But hey, listen, there's nothing like super late nights, getting no sleep, and the added stress of working for yourself to work for yourself.
Yeah, we love it. So we specialize in BMWs and Europeans from basic maintenance all the way up to high-end custom builds. But then, of course, we do all Chevys, Fords, Dodge, GMs. We do everything everything. So yeah, basic oil changes all the way up to we have $100,000 custom builds. Few Lamborghinis in here, few high-end vehicles, and it's a lot of fun for the most part. It's business owner life. It's stressful, but still, I don't ever want to go back to working for someone else again.
Yeah, especially building cars for and sticking to a regular schedule. Like I want to build cars that I want to build.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you get some stuff that you don't want to do, but that's your bread and butter, pays the bills, and then a lot of the custom builds are fun. So it's really nice when someone writes you a nice check and says, "I want this, make it happen." I'm like, "You got it."
Yep. We'll do it. Well, that's really fun. Well, tell us about Klaus the Barbarian, because that is hang on. I don't have any pictures of Klaus.
See if we can show you a little bit.
Yeah.
So, yes, Klaus is a 1,500 horsepower LS swapped BMW. We now have a 7.1 liter, 434 cubic inch LS by Texas Speed. Twin 78 millimeter turbos, Granis Racing T56 Magnum, angle kit, parachute, trailer hitch. So it does drag racing, burnout competitions, drift competitions, as well as drag and drive. And it's fully street legal. Like we literally during the day, if the parts delivery guys are too busy, this is the parts truck. It drives around everywhere, does it all.
Yes,
That's awesome.
Well,
now this is
good.
This is V2, right? If I remember right, because the one you had before got wrecked, correct?
Yeah. So we built the car 4 years ago, actually, right before COVID started. I was like, "Oh, hey, I want to do this junkyard." We had a '95 BMW. I was like, "I want to cut it up and make it like a Lemons car, that off-roading stuff." And then it kind of snowballed really hard. So we built it through COVID. And then 2 years later, driving on the street, this girl just pulled directly out in front of me, ended up rear-ending her, and it crumpled in the strut tire, basically totaled out the car. And then we had a fan say, hey, I have the same exact car. If you want it, come pick it up. So we basically did a swap, engine swap, everything, and made it V2 and changed a bunch of things. Because, you know, if you ever built a car, everyone said, man, if I ever did this again, I would do it this way. So then we did it that way. And the car has gone from like a joke eBay build to high-end parts, and it can do just about everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Well, 1,500 horsepower. What's it weigh? I mean, 2,800 pounds?
No, it's actually 3,240 without me. The cage alone weighs just over 1,000 pounds.
That's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
He's a heavy boy, but it's actually really nice because late night Mexico racing on the streets, it's 51% distribution in the rear, so it squats and hooks almost all the time.
Yeah, it works. That's awesome. So let's talk about doing some drag racing because you dominated Heads Up Hustle last year. Are you coming back this year? Are you gonna get some? You gonna give people something to chase?
Oh yeah, so absolutely. We have the Cleetus and Cars event, the burnout contest Saturday, and while we were driving, there's a place called Indian Drift Pit that we passed on the way here. They reached out to us and said, hey, Sunday's the track yours if you want to do something. So we're going to do some drifting there. And then Thursday we got to prep because we have Heads Up Hustle Friday, Saturday, and Sunday next week, which that goes, sorry, brain fart, from Milan, not US 31.
Mid-Michigan.
Mid-Michigan, yes. And then back to Milan. And that's going to be fun. Last year's Heads Up Hustle was my first ever drag and drive. And they've convinced me that literally the most fun you can have is drag and drive. Like there's other burnout competitors or strictly 8th mile competitors, even drift guys that have now gone on drag and drive events. And they're like, this is way more fun. And I'm like, I know, it's drag and drives are like my new favorite thing. This is what we do. And Klaus will be hauling the Ernest Brew Works. It's a 2,000-pound beer concession trailer. It fits 4 kegs in it. So we throw all of our tools inside with that. And last year we didn't bring any beverages. This year we might toss one in there for, after racing hangout.
Yeah. I knew I liked you.
It'll be fun. Yeah, I love it. So last year first ever drag and drive. You see everyone's really competitive, really fast, and with events, I guess I'm a bad racer because I don't ever look at anything as winning. I go to events and say, hey, I'm not going to win anything. I just like doing this, and that's how I've always lived. Last year, we actually won stick shift class, which was awesome. And then the winners of each class, we did just like a runoff or whatever, just a heads up race, like, hey, this is going to be for overall. And we won that. And the guy we went up against is about 1.5 seconds faster than us. So I was like, I'll give it the beans and see what we can do. And he red lit by a lot. And I was like, oh, well, not wanted to win, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, if he's got you covered by that much, man, he could have laid back some.
I can, but I have my 2-step set up extremely aggressive. So like people online are like, all I hear is your car just freaking out next to me. And maybe that's why he let go of the button early. I don't know.
Yeah, I like it. I knew I liked that. That's far one of the best ways to do that. So Heads Up Hustle this year, it also ends on a really cool day. So why don't you tell us about, so we're going to do Heads Up Hustle the morning at Milan and lock up all the classes and stuff. And then you have this No Half Sins. What is this thing?
Yeah, so this is actually something we started in 2020 as well at in Norwalk, Ohio at Summit Motorsports Park. That's where I'm from. No Half Sins is kind of like an all-day car party, I guess if you can call that. So we are going to have drag racing, roll racing. By the end of the day, kids can do Power Wheels racing. We will have a massive car show. We have bouncy houses coming in. There's 3 massive bouncy houses. during the day of the drag racing, and the big pit area will be drift event. There's a full drift event going on. And then everything is stopping by 5, and we're rolling into the Australian style burnout competition to end off the day. And this is just something, we just wanted to do it because, Cleetus McFarland has all of his events like we're traveling to, but they're always long distance for us northern people. So I'm trying to bring something like that closer, but not just burnouts, because I like doing everything. You got people that are strictly, I'm a drag racer, that's it, or I'm a drifter, that's it. Me, I do everything. So I want an event, even like for spectators. Say you go, oh, I'm watching drag racing for half hour. Okay, I'm bored of that. Oh, hey, let's go look at the car show for a little bit. Oh, hey, that drifting looks cool. Let's go over there. Hey, let's go do bouncy houses. Like, it's an all-day event. There's something you're gonna like there, I hope.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah, Milan is a great track for that too, because they have like the huge parking area. There's like the drift. Will it be down at the end of the track? There's like this kind of curvy road down towards the end of the track. Will it be down there as well?
Yeah, so they do. They actually have an all asphalt skid pad. We measured it out. It's 420 feet by 250 feet. And we're actually going to use all of that for the burnout competition. And at least to my knowledge, it's the biggest one I've ever seen or been to, because most of the guys are doing 60 to 80 mile per hour tip-ins, like the pro guys. And I was already telling my friends, the rest of Skids for Kids and everyone else, I was like, with the pad this big, it's also a 100-foot entry chute. I'm like, I want everyone hitting triple-digit entry speeds, doing 720s as you're tipping in.
Oh,
nice.
This is going to be awesome. This is going to be awesome.
Yeah,
and what'll be really fun is like all of the race car friends that'll finish the drag and drive event. I mean, talk about a show to end it off with, man. I mean, like they're gonna have a blast doing the weekend of Heads Up Hustle, and then they're gonna literally pull in the parking lot, and all of this is gonna be going on. It's gonna be nuts, man.
So I partnered up with John Paul, who is doing the Heads Up Hustle. He's the one that started it and putting it on. And I just want to give back and help more. So we have a discount code that any Heads Up Hustle competitor can email me, like their proof that they are a competitor. They get 50% off all tech cards and spectator tickets for the No Half Sends event as well. So I'm like, your car's already there. It's already going on. Oh, also, in the middle, right before the burnout contest, we have a $1,500 street car shootout, which is going to be pretty awesome. And people are like, well, what qualifies as a street car? I'm like, can you do a drag and drive event? It's going to be like at our discretion, but I'm like, it's basically rules. So we'll have a nice big shootout. The burnout competition will have $300 to the winner, just because it's really Hidden Motorsports putting on the event. So I don't have big name sponsors. This is all kind of like out of our pocket. You can see our sponsors on the flyers. They are doing different stuff like supplying trophies. Then you got Flawless Finishing for the car show. They're giving away a $1,500 paint correction and ceramic pro for their overall. Wow. So yes, all the sponsors are helping out with like the main. I'd love to, I have some friends that have like a podcast and stuff, and they have Summit Racing sponsoring them. So that would be really cool to do stuff like that.
Yeah. We can get you in contact with some people.
It's going to be a real fun time. I'm hoping car and everyone else's car can make it through this weekend, the drag and drive, and then roll into it. I know my car is going to be pretty tired by the time our event starts, but that's what it's built for. It's going to break. It's already had some issues already. I have some clutch/transmission issues at the moment, but we're just going to pretend they don't exist and see if it goes away.
That's awesome.
I love the concept of the No Half Sends. I think you're spot on with doing all of those motorsports events at once. I think that's a great idea, and again, you're doing it up kind of not far from me, so I like that a whole lot.
Yeah, we're like, that's kind of like our motto is No Half Sends. It's kind of our take on go big or go home. Burnout guys, we have a rule between us. We say engines or tires. You don't leave the pad till one of those things blows up. One of them's cheaper than the other, but if you're going to go do something, just go out and do it big. There's no point of like, out there, I'm going to do a little donut and leave. No, go out there, you blow the tires, put on a show, do something. If you're going to do it, just go big and do it.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, tell us about this truck fan thing here. What is this?
So that truck is called Frosty. That is actually Seth Kavanaugh's. He's part of Hidden Motorsports with us, but lives in Wyoming, so he's not on the channel as much. So he built that as his new burnout vehicle. He used to have the Liberty wagon. It was this American flag long wagon that did all the burnouts. And then over the winter, he built this in just a couple months, really. It was like 2 months out in Wyoming, basically by himself. Don't tell him, but he's pretty talented and really good at what he does. And I think I think he's going to correct me, but I think it's a 540 big block on methanol, 2-speed, and it's like 650 or 640 horsepower. Like, it rips. He's already won like all the smaller style burnout competitions he's went to. Just put on a charity event a couple of days ago where I think he said he raised almost like $10,000 or more. Like, real good guy. Don't tell him I said that though.
we won't. We got, we don't want to give him a complex,
I know his head's already big enough.
That's awesome.
So, how many events do you go to a year? So right now you're on your way to Cleetus and Cars. Then you're gonna go to Heads Up Hustle next weekend and No Half Cents.
Oh, there we go.
I think you'll have to ask again, Eric.
Yep, sorry, I didn't hear that. Oh, there you go.
So events per year. How many events do you think that you go to per year with going to Cleetus and Cars and like Heads Up Hustle? What do you have a rough idea on how many you attend per year?
Man, major events, probably 10 to 15 major events. And then we sprinkle in side shows, track days, little stuff that just pops up. Because I'm always just game. Someone's like, hey, tomorrow this is going on. You want to do it? I'm like, let me check with the wife. Yep, we're good. I'll see you there. And it's literally, I'm asking like this car to do too much. That's why it needs a lot of work here and there. But because I hear people, they're like, oh yeah, my engine's good for 30 passes. I'm like, that's depressing to me. Like last year's Heads Up Hustle, I didn't have my pro license. So the very first day I did like all my passes. So I had to take like 9 passes, got them signed off. We did a couple more before that, did drifting after that. I'm like, I just did 30 passes in 2 days. Like I would be highly upset if that's all my engine's good for.
Right.
But I guess make it over 2,500 horsepower. I guess that's to be expected on those cars.
Yeah. How many of the No Half Cents events do you put on?
We just do 1 a year for right now. I want to get it big enough to where we can do 2 a year, maybe 3 a year. Just we might end up changing the name or something, but yeah, just like all day parties. Want everyone to show up, have fun, something for everyone to do. Try to keep stuff off the streets for the most time. Like those takeover kids, we're not about that life. We like to do it a lot.
Well, and hosting an event like that is really a lot of work. Like, because not only are you trying to find drag racers, you're trying to find drifters, you're trying to find burnout people, you're trying to find everybody.
Yeah, so luckily with the sponsors, there's a lot of help. So we're kind of handling the drag racing portion of it. Then, I guess also the burnout portion of it as well. And then Flawless Finishing is handling the car show portion of it. And then we have Evan Sunday. He's handling kind of like the drift portion of this, just simply because I can't be in 6 spots at once. And not only is it like I'm hosting it and putting on the event with the rest of the team, I'm competing in it. Absolutely. I am doing the drag racing, the drifting, and the burnout competition.
Dude.
Following the finals. Like I will be in every single thing, and I have no shame. I will win every contest at my event if I have to. I do not care. I was like, don't complain. Get better, get faster, which because the street car shootout, it's going to be the quickest 16 cars on the property, whether you're automatic, whatever, as long as you can compete in a drag and drive. So there's going to be guys, and they're going to knock me out. real quick. I'm sure of it. But I have no shame in winning my own event because our trophies that we have are WWF wrestling belts that are personalized, engraved with huge things. I'm like, I actually really want this. See, Andy's holding it in that picture. They're awesome. I want one.
Yeah, they're super cool.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time. It's going to be stressful because we got the 3 days heads up hustle, the finals of, and while doing all that, we need to organize the event and make sure it's going off without a hitch. So I'll have some more gray hair in a couple weeks, but I'm sure we'll get through it.
Yeah,
it'll be fine
for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
So what's up next for you guys after Cleetus and Cars, after Heads Up Hustle? You finished No Half Sends. Like, do you guys got more events going on? Or are you taking a little bit of a break? What's your plan?
No, there's supposed to be another little drift event following weekend. Then the weekend after that is Tom Bailey's Sick Power Fest, which will be set up at, and then of course entering the burnout competition there as well. I think he's putting up $25,000 split between the two classes. So there's some big money going now because everyone's like, "Oh, a burnout contest. I've seen that. You just sit in one spot and do a burnout." I'm like, no, it's not how it is. And then I show them videos.
Right.
They're like, what the heck? I was like, yeah, way different. Yeah, thanks to the Australians. They're the ones that are like really helping it go a lot bigger. We actually have a few that are at our shop right now. They're building a pro style ute in the shop. I don't think we had a couple pictures kind of on the down low a little bit. There's all kinds of cool stuff that's happening. It's behind the scenes. Things are going to get a lot bigger, and I'm just happy. Like, everyone's cars are leveling up. It's gone from 4 years ago, just people in Camaros doing burnouts at these Cleetus events, to where everyone's building $50,000 plus. Big cubic inch motors, big blowers, methanol, two-speed power glide. That's kind of like the LS Fox body combo of the burnout world.
Yeah,
nice.
So it works. It'll be a lot of fun. I'm excited just to see the sport growing. My car will personally, I don't think, ever win like in the pro, just because stick shift and turbos is what you don't want for doing a burnout, because I got to shift through the gears instead of just stomping on the gas and going. And then if I lose RPMs a little bit, the turbos stall out, but it's fun. I have a lot of things.
Yeah, but again,
and that's the other thing too, like wheel speed. You need wheel speed. So like an automatic, it gets you there, it's easier. But like a stick, you've got to get to like fourth or fifth gear to get that 120 mile an hour wheel speed.
So the top of fourth gear for me is about 170. And that's kind of like the pro level Australian guys are closer to 200 miles per hour. But to compete, you need to be over 150, because we like to give each other crap that you better go out on brand new tires, and it takes 170 miles per hour to pop a brand new set of tires in under 2 minutes. It depends on the surface. Concrete's a little more slick, and it'll take that full time. If it's fresh asphalt, you're going to struggle to pop them or to even go over a minute, because asphalt will chew up your tires.
That's wild. But it kind of goes back to like what you said, though. Your car can do a drag and drive. It can go drifting. It can do the burnout contest. It can street drive, to where, those all-out burnout cars aren't doing all those same things that you get to go out and do.
That's my big thing. I've told everyone, they're like, put an auto in it for drag racing. Put an auto in for this. I'm just like, no, I will never do that, because I have so much more fun driving the car around. And some of my other friends have detuned their cars or changed them to where they're driving on the street, and they're like, I'm having fun now. Because if you're only getting out your car once every other weekend to go racing, you go out first round, those guys are like in bad moods all the time, and that's not what I'm about. I'm about driving. Like the Australians that came over here, they've been driving their big blower cars on the U.S. streets, especially in Toledo. Cops are very lenient. You're not doing anything wrong. They're never going to pull you over. And they're like, if we did this in Australia, our cars would literally be crushed, because Australia, everything's illegal. You can't modify exhaust. You can't do anything over there. So they were like, I asked them, I was like, so if I drove my car on the streets, they were like, no joke, you would be arrested for months and your cars would be crushed. I was like, wow.
Wow.
That's intense. Well, man, let's let you get back on the road. Thank you so much for pulling over. Thank you so much for doing this again, guys. Carl at Hidden Motorsports. Tell them where you post the most, but where they can find you.
Actually, probably my personal Facebook account. It's more public, so you can just look up Carl Balzer. We got Hidden Motorsports on Facebook. Our YouTube channel, Hidden Motorsports. We used to post like once a week. It's been a little bit less with how crazy the shop has been. But the YouTube channel's been taken off. You can go hiddenmotorsports.com. We have like 10 different t-shirts that you guys would love, hats, hoodies. Got a little bit of everything. Just follow us, show some support, and that way we can keep doing bigger events and doing crazier things. The more we can get the word out, get people interested in us, the more we can put on bigger events and just do crazier things.
Yeah, that's right, dude.
That's
well,
awesome.
thank you so much for your time tonight, man. I appreciate it a bunch.
Awesome. Thank you for having me, guys.
Yep. All right, man. We'll see you soon.
Yep, we'll see you.
See ya.
Bye.
Like I'll see him next weekend.
I was gonna say, yeah, you will.
He's gonna be at Heads Up Hustle.
Which is funny because all three of us were together at this event that he's on his way to. Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
4 years ago now?
Yeah.
I mean, we were all at Cleetus and Cars Indy. I don't remember.
I think that was in
20?
May. So yeah,
2021.
2021, I think, maybe something like that. That was the year. It had to be 21 because we put like 10,000 miles on the cart that year. We drove it to Indy from here. It was like a 900-mile trip.
Yeah,
maybe more, maybe 800 miles one way or something like that.
it was the only time I ever rode in the cart.
Yeah, well, listen,
leave it in the Airbnb.
Yeah, that was a blast, and really, a huge shout out to Carl and the team at Hidden Motorsports, because without them, like back then, Cleetus wasn't as advanced as he is now. He wasn't as good at putting on events, so I purchased a ticket thinking it was like a pit parking pass so I could get in with the cool kids. Turns out it wasn't, but I didn't know that till like 2 days before, and ended up paying like $300 and something for a ticket for Steven to get in, and like another $50 for the cart to park in the grass. And so the plan was the whole time that I would park by Carl and them. We pull in, they're like, no, you've got to park in the grass. You can't park over here. So I run over to him. I'm like, dude, I know you don't know me. We've only talked through Messenger. Please, can I park up here? It's the whole reason I drove this car. I think it was 800 miles to Indy. It's the whole reason we drove it. He's like, yeah, no problem, man. Come on. And then of course, after we passed the one person that was the parking Nazi, it was no big deal. Nobody cared. It was like, okay, go ahead. So you guys got to park. It gave us a great location.
Yeah, we ended up parking up by you guys and grilled out some food, and man, we had a good time. That was a lot of fun. Yeah,
we need to do that again. I'm going to be hanging out with them next weekend, but you'll be going on vacation, which is fine. That's no big deal. Whatever. I see how it is. I wish I was getting one of those this year, but
hey, listen, we went hard last year with drag and drive stuff. I at least owe it to them to go on a family vacation this year for sure.
Oh yeah. We've definitely had some. We've burned some candles at both ends for sure. Well, the show's not quite over yet. We got a few minutes left, and I want to talk about next week, dude. Listen, I'm glad these guests elected to go to next week, because it is going to be a huge episode. Like, there are only guests next week. This is going to be intense, y'all. So Brian and Jesse Havlick are going to be on the show from Havlick's Hot Rods by Havlick. They're going to be on, and y'all, we're talking about the fastest streetcar shootout that they're hosting. This is like the tribute race to what really started all of the drag and drive movement. This is what it was. This is going to be nuts. If you're not following the Havlicks, you need to be. This event is going to be crazy. Al Tucci is announcing. Adam Dory is announcing. Like, the sponsor list itself is gigantic, like absolutely gigantic. The racer list is even bigger, dude. Like big time names, big racers, big people
coming out.
Oh man, cars that have been put away for 25 years are coming out for the cars that are being built specifically or being rebuilt specifically for this race from all over the country. It's going to be nuts. And Jesse and Brian and I were messaging yesterday when kind of all this came about. So thank you to Carl. Big shout out to Carl at Hidden Motorsports for jumping on at the last minute there, because Brian and Jesse were like, listen, we've got an announcement that's going to be huge. It won't be ready in time, but for this week's show, but episode 74 of Drag Drive Repeat Show, you want to be there. You want to watch it live, and you want to be sharing it live, and you want to be in the midst. You want to be in the chat. You want to be in the conversation with that, because it's going to be gigantic. I mean, we're planning for an hour and a half with them. Like,
yeah. And you know who else is going to be there?
Who?
We are. We are going to be there for the event as well. So you're coming up, and it's a pretty short drive for me. It's only 2.5 hours, but we're going to be there, and I'm excited for this one. So this is the weekend after I get back from my family vacation. So I get to go, and I'm going to tune out for a week and enjoy a family vacation. And as soon as I come back, it's right back into it again, and we'll be heading over to Tri-State for the Hot Rods by Havlic's Fastest Car Shootout.
I think it's going to be really again, the momentum that Drag and Drive is gaining. This is going to take it just one more step. I think this is going to kind of supercharge the momentum we've seen lately, simply because of all the attention that it's getting, all the racers that are going to be there, and there is a ton of Drag and Drive racers that are racing in it. Big, fast cars that are going to be involved in this, because it's a tribute race to what, again, the 90s and 2000s that kicked all of this stuff off.
Yeah, so, I mean, we did a whole section, I don't know, probably a year ago, about that podcast that talked all about that fastest streetcar shootout race.
Yep. If you haven't listened to that, I was say, if you haven't listened to it, Brian Loans at the Dorkomotive podcast put together one of the greatest documentary style podcasts that I've ever listened to it 3 or 4 different times. And reminded me, I think I'll listen to that again tomorrow. It's a great one. I would love to do that type of reporting and historical documentation for a lot of the stuff that we have going on. It's really amazing. And I can't wait for this event. It's going to be nuts. And it's not a drag and drive that in the typical sense that we cover. So I think it's going to allow us so much more time at the track. We're getting there on Thursday or Friday. It's going to be a Friday, Saturday race. I mean, this is going to be a big deal.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. I'm excited.
Yep. Well, if you want to, man, lead us out. We'll get to work.
All right, guys, it's been a great night. Comments have been hopping. We've had tons of people in watching the show. So thank you, guys. Thank you to all of our race car friends in here making comments, sharing this. And also thanks to our sponsor, Summit Racing, Driven Racing Oil, Molly Motorsports, Car Change 3D, WAF Racing, Performer Built Transmission, Howard's Cams, Sweet Patina, Racing Junk, and our media partner, PowerTube TV. Guys, we will see you on the next episode.
Yep. All right, guys. See